Hello guys, welcome back again to the channel. My name is Dorothy. In today's video I'll be sharing with you how to draft a milkmaid pattern. You can simply transfer the pattern to make a dress just like this one you're seeing right now, or make a top just like this one you're seeing. For me, I'll be making a dress with this one right here. So if this is something you're interested in, watch this video to the end so you don't miss out on any detail or explanation. Without further ado, let's get started with the video. I will be using this flowery crepe fabric for this tutorial. I'm using 2 yards of it, and the length of this fabric is by 60 inches. I'm making this dress for a very slim person, so 2 yardage is just enough for me. If you're on a bigger size, 3 yards to 4 yards should do with the same 60 inches length. It depends on your body size. You know, some of this material length can be 45 also. So I will keep this fabric one side while we work on the pattern. I have my pattern paper and other drafting tools here. So on this top right here, I'm going to rule an horizontal line, and this line is going to be serving as the shoulder line. So go ahead and do the same, and I will be labeling this line the shoulder line. On this shoulder line, I divided the shoulder measurement that I'm working with by 2 and I marked it. The shoulder measurement I'm working with is 14 divided by 2 is 7 inches. So I marked 7 inches on the shoulder line. On that point I marked the shoulder measurement, I came down by 1 inch for the shoulder slant. To create a shoulder slant, I need to take my neckline measurement, and the neck width I am working with is 3 inches while the neck depth is 3 inches. So I'm going to use my curve ruler to create a round neckline, just as you can see me doing. I'm just going to use my marker to retrace this neckline so it can become more visible. To slanten the shoulder, I'm going to connect a line from this point. I came down by 1 inch on the shoulder to the neckline. On this point I marked for the shoulder slant, I'm going to come down from there by 7 inches for the armhole line. To get the armhole line, you simply divide your bust circumference by 6 plus 1.5 inch. Whatever you have is your armhole line. So I'm going to connect this point on a straight line, and this will be our armhole line. Then I'll extend the line horizontally, and this will serve as the chest line. On the armhole line, I'm going to measure the armhole line, and I will take the midpoint. On that midpoint, I will go in by 0.5 inch, that is half an inch for the armhole curve. Then on the chest line, I will divide the bust circumference I am working with by 4 and I'll mark it. The bust circumference I am working with is 32 divided by 4 is 8 inches, so I mark 8 inches on the chest line. Now I'm going to use my curve ruler to connect these 3 points together to create the armhole curve. To mark the horizontal point, I simply placed my tape rule on the shoulder line. So from the shoulder line, I came down by 9 inches for the bust point length. Still leaving the tape rule on the shoulder line, I came down by 12 inches for the underbust. Then the waistline is 14 inches. I marked that also, and I also added 1 inch sewing allowance. Now I'm going to use my ruler to connect all those points I mark horizontally. So I'm going to label all these points. Here is my chest line, my bust point, the underbust, and the waist length. To mark the dart point, I'll simply divide the nipple to nipple measurement by 2. The nipple to nipple measurement I am working with is 7. 7 divided by 2 is 3.5. So I mark 3.5 on the bust point, on the underbust, and on the waistline. Now I'm going to use my ruler to connect this point I mark on a straight line. For the dart leg, I mark half an inch on both sides of this line, that is this bust span line. Now I'm going to use my ruler to connect this point I marked on the waistline to meet the bust point, just as you can see me doing. Now to create the milkmaid bust cup. On the underbust right here, I will go up by 1.5 inches. Then I will use my curve ruler to create a curvy line to meet one of this dart leg you're seeing right here. When doing this, make sure you curve the ruler like this, okay? On this bust point right here, I measured the bust span that I took, which is 3.5 inches. I will take this measurement on this side of the bust point as well, and I will mark it there. Go ahead and do the same thing, and after doing that, you're going to use your curve ruler again and connect this point I just mark all the way to meet the second side of the dart leg. So guys, you can see that the bust cup is coming out. So what we are going to do next is that we're going to use our straight ruler to connect this point all the way to the armhole. Now for some of us who might want to reveal some boobs, the job is over for you here. You can just make use of the chest line. But for us who don't want that, for me personally, I will go up on the chest line by 1.5 inches. You can do 2 inches, it just depends on how much flesh you want to reveal on the chest line. Now I will place my curve ruler like so, and I will create a curvy line from this center front all the way to the armhole. I hope you can see what I have here. Go ahead and do the same thing. We are basically done in creating our cup. So the next thing is to mark the body measurement. On the bust point, I divided the bust circumference I am working with by 4 and I marked it. The bust circumference I am working with is 32, and 32 divided by 4 is 8 inches, and that the 8 inches I just mark on the bust point. Then here on the waistline, I did the same thing as well. I simply divided the waist circumference I am working with by 4 and I marked it. The waist circumference I am working with is 26. 26 divided by 4 is 6.5. So go ahead and use your body measurement. Now I will use my ruler to connect this point I just marked like this. For the sewing allowance, I marked 2 inches sewing allowance on the armhole, on the bust point, and also on the waistline. And I'm going to use my ruler to connect them together like this. On this armhole, I'm going to use my marker to blend it just as you can see me doing. And that basically all for the drafting of the front pattern. Now I'm going to use my scissors to cut some part out. But before I fully cut out this front pattern paper, I'm going to place this front pattern paper on another fresh pattern paper for my back pattern. And we'll be using this front pattern paper to trace out the back pattern paper. So on this fresh pattern paper, I mark 1.5 inches for the zipper allowance. So from the center back, I mark 1.5 inches from top to bottom. Then I use my ruler, my straight ruler, to connect the points together for the zipper allowance. And after that, I place my front pattern on the back pattern just the way you see me doing. Make sure your front pattern is on the zipper line, okay? Now I will use my pins to hold these two pattern paper together so it doesn't move when I am drafting the back. After pinning them together, I will use my marker to trace out the front pattern on the back pattern. I hope you can see what I am doing right here. Just use your marker to trace out the front pattern on the back pattern paper. After that, I removed my pins. I hope you can see what we have here. Now for the back neckline, I just placed my curve ruler like this to give the back neckline this curvy shape. This is totally optional. You can decide to leave your back just the way it is, or you can decide to curve the back neckline, okay? I will use my ruler to extend this neckline all the way to the zipper allowance. Now to create the back dart, I will simply place my front piece on the back piece. Then I will use my marker to mark the dart leg on the back piece just the way you see me doing. Then I will use my ruler to connect this dart all the way to the neckline. And that's basically all for the back pattern. Now I'm going to use my scissors to cut this out. I will label my zipper allowance so you can see it clearly, and I also went ahead to label this my back pattern. So guys, I'm going to drop this aside while we'll finish up with the front pattern. Here on the front pattern, I'll just go ahead and use my scissors to cut out this cup. Now to create the ruffles on the cup, I'm going to do slash and spread on this cup. So I'll keep this one aside while we'll do the slash and spread on the cup area. Now on this top here, I'll just go ahead and slash this by 1 inch. So I'll mark 1 inch on this cup area all the way to the end. Then I'll use my ruler to connect these points I mark on the straight line. After rolling out this piece, I'm going to label it as piece 1, piece 2, all the way to piece 6. Then I'll go ahead and use my scissors to cut them out. So guys, these pieces that I slashed, I was supposed to spread them on another pattern paper so we can get the ruffles on the cup. But because I am short of pattern paper, I will do this directly on the fabric. If you have enough pattern paper, please go ahead and spread these pieces on the pattern paper, giving each of this piece 1.5 to 2 inches spacing. So when you cut it out, you will have a full gather ruffle for your cup, okay? For some who don't understand me, simply spread these pieces we cut out on the pattern paper or on the fabric, giving each of this piece a spacing of 1.5 or 2 inch spacing, just like what you see right here, and cut it out after then. Thank you so much for watching this video to this point. If this video was helpful, encourage me by liking this video, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do well to subscribe. And if you have any question concerning this tutorial, leave your question on the comment section and I will reply to it. If you don't have any question but you're sure you're going to make a milkmaid dress for yourself or a milkmaid top, tell me that on the comment section. And if you're not sure you're making this yet, please leave a love emoji for me. Either way, say something. I want you guys to comment on this video. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye for now.